Good morning, guys. Morning, morning. Type in the chat if you're here. Looks like someone's here. Can't tell. Liberty, all right. Good morning, Liberty. How are you doing today? Hopefully, maybe you got outside yesterday. It was beautiful. It's supposed to be like today. It's supposed to be warm today, but rainy. So today's not a great day, but kind of like warm and rainy. It's a good feeling, I think. I'm doing all right, Liberty. Thank you for asking. I think for me, I don't know about you guys, but I know this is actually like a thing. I get so much in a better mood when the weather gets better. Like it makes a huge impact on my day. So even though I'm not even outside that much and we're in quarantine, even if it's nice outside, I just feel way better. I'm happier, just in a better mood overall. So I like warm weather. Anyone else here besides Liberty? Looks like I might have one more person. Absolutely, I hate transitioning between seasons. Yeah, it's like you're in this like happy medium world where it's like this, like the world's deciding, like, okay, is it now the time I go from summer to fall or winter to spring? That is true. They definitely do have that. So it looks like I have one more person, but I don't, I can't tell. No one else is saying anything. So Liberty, by any chance, do you know if Rachel's on, or if you can text her? If she's sleeping, it happens. But I'm gonna go over something that's pretty important. So okay, Rachel's having problems getting into the stream. All right, I'll give her some time. So just tell her through you to communicate to me. So if there's specific issues or whatever, just let me know. Having a hard time opening up my college board assignment. She's trying to fix it. Okay. That's okay. I'll give her a little time. The video is saying that it's restricted for her. Okay, if she keeps having issues, I can end the stream and just start it over again. I shouldn't be restricted. I know other people have had this issue. So if you can, Liberty, I mean, I'm sure she's tried it, but some people have X'd out completely of YouTube and then logged back in and it's worked. Refreshing their page. Worst case scenario, just turn off the computer and turn it back on. That's some of the stuff like other people who've had that issue have done. So Liberty, while you're waiting, I'm sure you probably already started. You can go ahead and get started on the 2019 FRQ, and if she figures it out and gets in, then we can get started with what I had to talk about. But for now, you're good just to start the 2019 FRQ Part A. Just so you know, Liberty, for the calendar, you'll be doing 1 and 3 today. So BC practice 1 and 3. Now this might change because like I said, I have stuff to go over. So it probably definitely will change. Just make sure you do 1 and 3, and then I'll try to change homework. I think I'm just going to do homework. I'm actually going to change it now. It's just going to be just 4. Because I don't think we're going to have time to do 1 and 3 in class. So 3 will also be part of homework. Yeah, all right. Rachel figured it out. Very cool. Okay. How you doing, Rachel, by the way? Everything going well? Good, good. Okay. So I'd like to hear. All right, so I want to start off by talking about an email I got. So I got an email from College Board, and you guys might have gotten the same email. I'm not really sure. But this is an overview of everything you need to know for testing day of your AP classes. So not just calculus, but for all your classes. So I want to go over that. You should be able to see my screen right now. Yeah. So you can see my screen. I guess I'll get started and then I'll try to open the assignment. So let me make this full screen. And I won't be able to see your guys' chat. So I'll answer your questions towards the end when I'm done with my spiel here. So I'll post this to Google Classroom so you guys can go through it. I figured I might as well go through it with you as well. Just that way I can explain anything, or we can talk about if you have any questions. And I also know for a fact that at least you two have seen it if I do it this way. So this is just a testing guide. It's going to tell you everything for the AP test. Number 1, you'll see you'll be just as happy as this person is. So the summary of resources, it's available at the College Board, so you can find this on your homepage. I don't know exactly. I'm sure it's going to be one of the first things that they post. But they give you kind of everything you might need. So testing guide, which is we're looking at right now. Checklist for exam day, if that's something you'd be interested in. Documents, that's for probably your other exams. I don't know if you're gonna need that for ours. Testing demo. I don't know if they have like demo questions in exams. I don't know if that's the same thing or if this is a brand new thing. But we can look at that a little bit later. Number 5 we don't care about, and then frequently asked questions if you're interested. So here's what's kind of what I'm going to outline. Your exam AP e-ticket is really, really, really important. So we're going to start with that. 5 steps to take before exam day, actual exam day, and then scores and everything. So this e-ticket, if I think I've alluded to, and I'm sure your other AP teachers have alluded to, this is basically what's going to happen. AP is going to send you an email with an e-ticket. Just like those of you who have used Zoom, you might get an email from someone like inviting you to a Zoom session. Kind of the same idea. It's an e-ticket. It's like a very, very specialized link. All right. You'll receive this e-ticket 2 days before each test. You'll get a unique ticket for each exam you register for. So like for you guys are going to be taking, I don't know, 3 AP exams, maybe more. So that means that you're going to get 3 different unique tickets. So make sure you have them organized, right? You know which ones are for which subject. And you can also access your e-ticket in your AP account. So if you go to College Board and I don't know where exactly in College Board, but you can find it there. You can't transfer it, so that's why I make sure that your email that's set up through College Board is correct and the one you prefer, because if it's not, and you want to try to like forward an email from another address, it's not going to work. So that once it comes to that email, that's like the only place you can access it besides College Board. Don't share your e-ticket. That should be self-explanatory. You guys are smart enough to know that. Don't worry about that. All right. Oh, okay. Here's another one. I don't another thing that's not a huge issue, but save your e-ticket in case something goes horribly wrong and you need to do a makeup exam. Just keep your e-ticket originally, so that way you can show them like, hey, I had it originally. I tried it. Like something happened. Okay, so you guys should know your schedule. If not, like I said, I'll post this, but this is gonna be the schedule that's like kind of nicely formatted. So this might help you, for all your different exams if you haven't got like a formulated schedule kind of like this. So you can take a picture now or wait till I post it and then take a picture then. Like I've said multiple times, May 12th is the big day. So May 12th you'll be taking your exam for calculus. You guys can see your what else do you guys have? Physics. I don't know which one. I don't know which physics you take. Whatever physics you take, there's a couple of them, but some are right around there. And then statistics is 22nd. And then I don't know about anything with English. All right, so every exam offers a makeup test. Hopefully we don't have to worry about this, right? Get it out of the way the first time. But if it happens, it's June 1st. Your makeup test will be. So that's going to be something more so like I'm not really worried about right now. If there's a huge issue, you just make sure you contact me first. And then you and I will talk about what we can do to handle the situation. And this is going to be most likely the step is to take the makeup in June. Again, don't think we're going to have to worry about that. So each subject's exam will be taken simultaneously worldwide. I think you already know our testing time, right? 2 p.m. So, yeah, all right, that's fine. Okay, so what to expect in this year's exam? This is for all of your exams, so not just for calculus, for all of them. It won't be as difficult it won't be more difficult to earn 3, 4, or 5. It'll be equally difficult, essentially. So the normal challenge of the Calc BC class will remain, theoretically. But it's not going to be any harder, is what they're saying. So even if an exam question seems more difficult to you than expected, don't worry. Difficult questions require fewer points to earn 3s, 4s, and 5s, and easier questions require. So it's kind of something good to know. If you guys find yourselves like really struggling on one part of the 2-part exam, don't freak out. You can still get, obviously, partial credit is one thing, but also, like it says, it requires fewer points to earn 3s, 4s, and 5s. Like they don't really weight it, but they take into account the difficulty. So yeah, like they said, just stay calm in each part of the question. Simply show what you know and can do within the time you have. AP exams are never graded on a curve, and this year's exams are no different. So even though the circumstances are weird, it's going to be no curve. So they'll have like a rubric, they'll have a set expectation in order to get a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is really important, and this is, again, not just for BC, but it's for all your exams. Don't worry if you don't complete all parts of the question. So before you need to attach and submit your response to give students as many different chances to demonstrate what they know as possible, a question may have more parts that can be answered in the allowed time. You don't need to complete the entire question to get a score of 5, but you need to submit whatever work you've done. So basically what that's saying, like for BC's case, make sure you just work through the problem, take up all the time. Use as much time as you possibly can working on the problem, and then wherever you left off, even if you're in the middle of solving a problem, if you're like, and you need, like, you have to submit your work, just submit your work, submit what you have. All right, it's not the worst case scenario, because even if like you're on a problem and you only you got the first part, which the first part was to like show the limit exists or something like that, if you got that part done, you're getting points. So just what's more important is you get your work submitted. If you don't get your work submitted, not good. All right, not good at all. So don't panic. Just say, okay, I got what I got, and send it through. You're an AP student, you're a resilient problem solver. Remember, if you see a part of a question that feels unfamiliar, stick with it and maybe ask you to use your knowledge and skills to analyze a new situation. I think that's very likely. So like I know what we've been doing like the last pretty much the entire third quarter, we've been working on practice AP stuff. whether it's multiple choice or free response. I think by now you guys have seen so many free response questions. I would have to guess that you're starting to see patterns. You're starting to get used to the types of question they're asking. Questions oftentimes repeat the same ideas, just with different numbers and different equations and maybe a little different nuances. I wouldn't be surprised if they give you like a brand new situation. So they present something to you that's maybe just a different format or just something a little bit new. But it's just remember at the core of it, it's just going to be asking you the same stuff the normal questions we do is. I mean, it's at the end of the day, it wants a derivative, it wants an integral, it wants you to use implicit differentiation. And, whatever it may be, it's always going to come back to the basic skills, regardless of how it's covered. So yeah, like they said, just stay calm, look for ways to apply it, don't panic. Don't rely on like looking through your notes and like trying to match things up. Like don't just say like, okay, I see this exact type of question. I'm gonna go through my notes. I'm gonna go through all my assignments and see if I can find that exact one. That's not a good use of your time. That could take you 10 minutes of time that you could work. Just believe that you understand what's going on. You know what's going on, because I'm very confident in you guys. This BC 4 of you. I'm very confident that you guys know what you're doing. I've been around you long enough this year, and I've seen enough of your work. I feel pretty good about your knowledge of this class. So I don't think you need to panic. Just, stay calm and think back to what you know. Because creating good testing environments at home is a challenge, the exam is much shorter, as we know. So since there's fewer questions, it's a little bit harder to show the extent of what you learned, and they want to ensure a fair opportunity. So AP teachers will have a chance to review your score and your exam responses this summer. Basically what this is saying is if you don't get a score of 3 or higher, I'll be able to, once the exams are released, I'll be able to look at your exam and I can argue, like, hey, this person did better than a 2, and I think they deserve better than 2. Again, it's future us will figure that out, but I want to let you guys know that's a thing. So if you guys get your score back this summer and you're really like annoyed and you thought there's no way, just let me know. I mean, I'm gonna look at you guys' test anyways, but just in case, and I'll review it, and then if need be, if I disagree, then I would also talk to AP and we can maybe get you a score changed. But again, that's hopefully something we don't have to worry about. The future us will figure that out. So there's 3 different types of ways to submit your work. I'll let you guys in the chat, even though I can't see the chat, you guys can type what your opinion is. But here's kind of where my mindset is, and this is why I've been having you guys do this, is I think the best way for math is to attach 1 or more photos of handwritten response. For the large majority of people, I think you guys would prefer to do this. Okay, and like from my perspective as a teacher, getting your work, it's been like really good, I thought. Like the work is neat, it's organized, it's for the most part, and I'm able to read it. You guys have been taking clear pictures. Like everything has been looking good from my perspective. So I like this option personally. You can attach a typed response or copy and paste a typed response. So the big thing with these ones, they're pretty much the same. You would use like a math typing software. So you could use Google Docs is fine. Microsoft Word is fine. There's other ones you could probably find. There's a couple ones like LaTeX, but that would, unless you already know it, it's not worth looking into. There's certain programs like that are like coding programs. Again, if you're just a type of person who already knows that, then that's fine. But most people don't, and you'd have to learn it. It wouldn't be worth their time. So that really isn't too reasonable. Google Docs and Microsoft Word are very easy to follow, so I don't think those would be an issue. But again, I would definitely suggest this photo. So let me know in the chat what you guys would prefer. The one thing that I will say is there is a document on how to type math work in College Board. You might be able to find it on your AP. If not, I could look for it and try to find it for you guys. I don't think it's too difficult to find, but it's just like a cookie cutter outline on how you can type work into College Board, into the AP exam. So like show you how to type in an integral, how to type in derivative, all that stuff. So I don't know if that's something you're interested. The way I see it is if you don't do math on your computer, like you don't type your work on math on computer the entire year, it's pretty risky to then start doing it on AP day. So I think just doing your normal work like you would to submit a normal physical test, I think is way more reasonable and makes more sense. So I'm not going to go through these. Like I said, when I post it, if you're really considering this, then you can look at those. Okay, so one thing I want to talk about is attaching photos. This is a really, really, really important piece, and they don't really do a very good job of making this clear, but I need you guys to pay very close attention to this. This first part. On your response sheets, so on your pieces of paper, which again, like that's my assumption, that's what you'll be doing. This is what you need to do. You need to write your AP ID, your initials, and a page number at the top of each page of your response. Okay, so each one of those, every single page you use, you have to write those. Your AP ID, your initials, and a page number at the top of every single page that you submit into College Board. So, with that being said, let me think of how I want it. Okay, so I guess this is how I want to word this. Some people, I don't know if it's like you guys specifically, but there have been people in my calculus classes that have sent me pictures, and one of their pictures will be the top of the page, and like the first half of the page, and the second picture will be the second half of the page. You can't do that for the AP test because that second half of the page won't have an AP ID, initials, and page number on it. So like let's say like you submit one picture that's half a page for A and B, and then for C and D you submit the other half of the page with another picture. Don't do that. If you're going to send in a picture, make sure it's a picture of the entire page. Okay, so the entire page that you submit should have a picture of all your work from that problem, or at least as much work as you can put in. Moral of the story is every picture you take needs an AP ID, initials, page number. Every single one. Every picture you take. You could do every single part, so you could do like 1A, B, C, and D all on different pages and submit them all separately. That's up to you. Just again, I want to make this very clear. Make sure every page has those details. Write your responses clearly. That's common sense. When the timer has 5 minutes remaining, take a photo of your response in vertical orientation. So that's really important. On your phones, don't do horizontal. So it should be a picture that's vertical, up and down. 1 page per photo, like I said. If your response is long on 1 page, you'll need to attach multiple photos. Make sure to attach all of your pages before you submit, obviously. And then here's the acceptable formats. I think most of you guys use these formats anyways, but JPEG, PNG, and JPG. Those are the acceptable formats. So it's really important, especially for our exam, because you guys will be doing paper and pencil photos. So I want you to make sure that we're okay with that. Okay. So here's another thing. Actually, when I first read this, I didn't really process this, but now I'm starting to process it. And I don't know, maybe you guys can tell me how you do this, but I guess you can go to College Board. I know you can go to College Board on your phone. So what you could do is you could sign in and do everything from your phone. And that way, it'll display the test question. It'll display a timer. And then while you're doing that, you can use your phone, and then you don't have to like email the work to yourself or anything like that. You can just take the picture and then right from your phone, upload it directly to AP. I don't know if any of you have done that, so go ahead. Another thing in the chat you guys can type. Let me know if that's something you've done or you looked into. Is there an app for AP? Not really sure. But now that I'm thinking about it, if you're taking a picture, you would have to take a picture, email it to yourself, or airdrop it. I don't even know if you can do that in school computers, but then or airdrop or however, you need to somehow get it onto the computer and then submit it from the computer. So yeah, I would love your guys' opinions or your guys' answers or ideas on that. So go ahead and type your feedback on that. I'd love to hear. Because I'm kind of picturing a little bit of issues with that. Moving on though. Requesting a makeup exam. Again, we'll figure that all out future us if need be. Okay, so the exam screen will guide you step by step on test day from the moment you click your e-ticket. I think, yeah, I don't think it's gonna be super complicated. So I think basically with everything I've said, I think it's pretty predictable. But either way, the exam screen will help you. Okay, so here's 5 steps to take before exam day. This is just a useful idea. So review your contact information. That's number 1. To get the e-ticket, like I've been saying, make sure your email's good. Make sure your technology's good. It should be common sense that on test day, make sure your phone's charged, calculator's charged, computer's charged, everything is charged the night before, everything looks good. You checked, made sure everything's working. Make sure, like I would suggest on all of your AP exams, tell your family not, if they can, to not be online. So you don't have like an overload of people on your Wi-Fi and like things go bad. I would highly suggest trying to just be like, hey guys, for the next hour, can you guys just not be on the internet if possible? I think that they could probably manage at 2 o'clock especially. So I would suggest that. Practice submitting your response. You've been practicing for a while now, so I don't think we're going to be too much issue with that. Only thing now I'm considering is maybe we got to practice doing it on our phones and accessing everything on our phones. That might be the next kind of step, depending on what you guys say and what I feel like is valuable. Gather what you need for each exam. So every exam is a little bit different, but you can look for different materials for different exams on AP exam. And then the rest, yeah, receiving the email. Okay, so I'm not going to go through this stuff, but this is the stuff that you can do to that follows these process. So reviewing your contact information, just go to your College Board account and look at your personal information. So you won't need a lockdown browser for the exam. That's pretty important. If you have the Grammarly plugin, you'll need to remove it to the test. That's interesting. I didn't know that. So you guys take an English, any class actually, that's not AP Calculus and maybe physics. You guys can't use Grammarly. So make sure you looked at that. Okay, so this is interesting. This year's questions won't require you to submit graphs or diagrams. So like slope fields, which is really the only one that I would predict you'd have to do. Any sort of slope fields or differential graphing you won't need to do. Or drawing any tangent lines or anything like that. So you don't have to worry about any of that, just so everyone's aware. Type your responses. Okay, so here's the guide actually. So if you want to type for calculus, if you want to type your answers, here's the guide. So when I post this to Google Classroom, you guys can copy this if you're interested in that. It's right there. In most subjects, using a smartphone will require scrolling back and forth within a question, which many students will find frustrating. So they recommend a desktop or laptop. Again, though, I'm not really sure. They're not doing a very good job of telling us what to do if they're using a laptop, or if you're testing on a laptop but you're taking a picture on your smartphone. They're not saying really what to do. So we might have to brainstorm ourselves, and I'll maybe get some answers for that. Maybe that's not bothering you, but for me, that's making me a little bit annoyed. Don't think that's not really applicable to calculus. Okay, so this is something that they suggest to do before your AP exam. So this is if you're writing your work in your notebook or on separate pieces of paper. Obviously use white paper. Standard size paper, that should be obvious. Use a number 2 pencil or a pen with black or blue ink. So you can use a pen, that's fine too. With black or blue, whatever you use, just make sure it's dark enough so the grader can see. So because the maximum number of pages you can attach per question is 5, at most you'll need 5 pages for AP English and AP History and 10 pages for all exam. But it's highly unlikely you will use this many pages for responses, which can be often be answered fully in just 1 to 2 pages. So yeah, I have a feeling for calculus, 3 to 4 max. I'm guessing 1 to 2 pages will be enough. But I would say 3 to 4 would be the maximum amount of pages you need. Regardless how many you do though, before test day I would do this. Prepare your pages by writing your AP ID, your initials, and page number at the top of each page. So do that before the test because that's going to save you time. You don't want to be like forgetting what your AP ID is and like scrambling to find it on test day in the middle of the test. Like the timing for this test is so important. You can't spend it wasting on anything. So each question should be numbered differently. So in other words, if you use 2 pages for question 1, it should be page 1 and page 2. And then you should start back at page 1 for the second question. So obviously the BC test is going to have 2 different questions. which a bunch of different parts. So each question should have its own paging system or number system. Okay, so just keep that in mind. I don't know how super important this is. Like I don't really know. There's gonna be tons of kids who are gonna screw this up. So don't freak out and don't think this. I just try to follow the directions to the best of your ability. I can't imagine messing up a page number is going to throw off your entire exam, but better safe than sorry. So we talked about this AP demo from May 4th. Okay, so this actually is new. So on May 4th, you can access this AP demo and allow you to practice the different ways to submit your responses. So let's actually definitely plan to do that before, that'll be next week. On May 4th, I would go in and try to do that, make sure everything works for you. We kind of talked about everything you'll need, but this gives you a good laydown of the list that you can check off. Here's the A, B, and BC. The big thing is just, I don't know if you guys will need this, but if you want it, the keyboarding tip sheet, but most importantly, the calculator. So Rachel, make sure your calculator is charged. Don't want to single it out, but make sure your calculator is charged and ready to go on the day. Okay, and also, like I said, I think I'll give you a formula sheet, and that might be very valuable too for that day. I don't know, unless you have a printer, I don't know how you're going to print it out, but that's okay. You can have it, I don't know. You'll find a way. You'll figure it out. It's not a lockdown browser, so you can have it in another browser. Physics, all the physics stuff's here too. Okay, other resources, not super worried. Okay, they do mention this. I think this is interesting. So the following resources are class notes or study guides, textbooks, previous assignments, calculators. Don't worry about the shared study notes. Internet searches will waste your time and put you at risk of an exam violation. So the more time you spend searching the web, less time you spend answering exam questions. Internet-based facts, research, and opinions aren't relevant to AP exam and won't raise your scores. Copying from websites, blah, 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 is plagiarism and will be detected and scores canceled. Moral of the story, guys, I don't know how many times I gotta say this. It's not gonna help you. Don't even think of it as a tool. Only tool I would say the internet for is if you're having a really hard time with something in your calculator and you need to get an answer quick. So like if you're typing an integral and you're just struggling and you can't do it on your calculator, go ahead and go on Wolfram, go on Symbolab, go on something real quick, type it in if you have time, and then get an answer off of there. Not the best idea, but if you're in a pinch, you got to do what you got to do. So I would just say keep it as a complete, like, use the internet only when you're desperate, like if it's a last-ditch effort, because it really is just going to waste your time. Okay, look for your exam tickets, complete the checklist. Okay, so actual exam day. This is kind of a rundown of what the expectation is or kind of how your timing is. So they do this for the general exam days. So you check in 30 minutes before your start time. You have to complete that identity information, just like any test. You have to complete like who you are, blah, blah, blah. And then you just wait for the exam to begin. So for our case, this is our format, 25 minutes and then 50 minutes. So you have 25 minutes to read the question and answer it, 5 minutes to submit it. So like I said, the timer will start beeping. It'll go like red, I think. And that'll alert you to say like, hey, take a picture and submit your work. I would suggest like really try to get it done. Like, so just to clarify, 30 minutes total. So you won't have like, you don't have to do this 20 minutes. At exactly 25 minutes is when you want to take your picture and submit. So the way I see it is look at it as that you have 25 minutes for one question, 15 for the other. Don't play that dangerous game of 1 minute left and trying to submit your work. That is way too much stress. That's not worth it. Okay, because like I said, if you can't get your work submitted, you're toast. Like you're done. I mean, they're not gonna like give you like a grace period. The second the timer hits 0, it's over. So it's not worth it. Just at 5 minutes, take a picture of what you have and submit it. That's what I would say. Testing environment, you guys just let everyone in your family know. Let everyone in the house know, like, hey, I'm taking my AP exam. It's really important that you all shut up and don't do anything to distract me. Yeah, that's a big thing. Exam security, nothing too important. You guys are smart enough. You should have common sense. Don't be doing anything that you shouldn't be doing, basically. So you're not allowed to receive any aid from siblings or anyone else, obviously. So to identify students attempting to receive help through a web, a phone, or social media, sophisticated detection technologies and processes will be applied. I mean, at the end of the day, like, that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, don't just treat this like a normal AP exam. The only nice part of this AP exam is you do get your notes and your textbook and a formula sheet and stuff like that. Like, that's your advantage to this year's. Don't think like just because it's take home and there's no lockdown browser that using the internet's an option. It's just not. Social media is not going to help you. Like, texting your friends isn't going to help you. So keep that in mind. It's the best I can say. So they're not even going to tell us what technologies they'll use to do this. That would scare me though. If I were you, I wouldn't test it. Not worth it. Okay. You'll face severe consequences if you do violate exam security. Your names will be reported to college admissions offices, which is the last thing in the world you want. And obviously, the little part is your AP exam will be canceled. The big thing, especially for you guys, is college admissions. We'll hear about you cheating. Don't want that. Trust me. Okay. Managing all this stuff, I think you guys can look for. Same idea for the AP exams. It's just like always. So 1 to 5 scale will be checked. Okay. I think that's it. Oh, use Chrome too if you're using your internet, which you probably already are doing that, but I would definitely suggest Chrome. All right, now I'm going. I need a drink, and I'll be looking at the chat, so I'll see what you guys have been saying. I know that took most of our class, but I think this is like super important, so I figured why not do it now. Get it out of the way. Okay, so Rachel said uploading a photo in Liberty Grace. Okay. Okay, so Liberty's been scanning pages in your phone and then emailing them to myself. I'm guessing when you say pay. Okay, I think I'm fine. All right, so Liberty, let me ask: do you use like a app on your phone, like Adobe Reader or something like that, to scan them, and then they just emails right away? Rachel, I take pictures of my phone and they automatically upload to Google Photos, so I go to Google Photos. Oh, okay, very cool. And they automatically upload to Google Photos, so I go to Google Photos on my computer and get them. All right, I didn't know it was that easy. Okay, so maybe that's something that I could also offer up to some people and see if maybe that would be a good option is Google Photos. I feel like that would be pretty easy. If I know probably a lot of people might have photos automatically upload. I don't know. I know like my computer I don't, so you Liberty use CamScan. Okay. So Liberty, let me ask you something then. If let's say you're taking a test, for you to scan it and to email it to yourself, and then access the email, and then to download that document or the picture and then upload it, how long would you say that would take you? Yeah, don't use photo booth camera. Don't use your computer camera. I'm gonna talk to you guys. Haven't been an issue, but I'm gonna talk to AB about that. That's not good. Don't do that. Okay, maybe 2 minutes. All right, and that's plenty of time. Okay, so I think that's what, because I was thinking about what I should suggest to some other people, especially in AB. I'm thinking that might be, I like both of those options. So Rachel, how do you connect your phone to Google Photos? I'm guessing Google Photos is an app or like a, let me see, I'm sure I can probably find it. It's probably somewhere in here. Yeah, okay, Google Photos. All right. So it's already connected to your account. I'm gonna switch your camera. I'm gonna make a note of this stuff. So let me switch so you can't see where I put all my notes. Okay. So I need to give you a formula sheet and then Give suggestions on uploading photos. Okay. All right, so Goofo is an app on the phone where every picture you take is automatically uploaded to the app. Okay. I'm copying and pasting your comment, Rachel, so I have it. And then you just go to the website and it's connected to your phone as long as you are under the right email, and then you can download any of them under. Okay, that's actually really good. I like both of those options. Those might be the two. Because I think, like Liberty said, at the end of the day, just don't, for the love of God, use your laptop. The laptop is horrible for pictures. Okay, cool. All right. So I know that took like most of the class. I understand that. Hopefully this was beneficial and maybe helps you guys out and eases your mind a little bit. We do have about 15 minutes left. If you guys have any questions from now until obviously test day, just please let me know. Anything that comes up, any advice you have, anything like, especially when that demo comes out, if you guys find something that's really smart or works really well, just let me know. The more information you can give me, the better, so I can help everyone else out as well. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. I'll let you guys have about 15 minutes. I think you can actually get done with question 1. You could probably finish question 1. So let's get started on that. And then 3 and 4 will be your homework for tonight. Can we go over part B of question 6 from 2018? Yes, we can, Rachel. Can we go over part B of question 6? Okay, so part B, so here's, unfortunately, I'm having a really hard time opening up the actual assignment. But this is actually important before I can do part B. Rachel, I got to make sure you got part A. So I'm going to put the answer of part A, and let's double check you got that first. So basically, we got your approximation for f of x was equal to, they wanted you to use a second. This notation isn't super important, but your second Taylor polynomial, your second degree, is what you would have used for part 1. And what you should have ended up getting was 4 plus 5x plus 1/2 x squared. So that's what you should have. So your actual answer for f of 0.2 is different, but I'm more concerned about if you get the general outline. So let me know if that's what you got first. All right, so you got negative 1/2, not plus. Okay, maybe I met. Oh yeah, it is minus. I'm sorry, it is minus. You're right. I just copied it wrong for my work. Like I said, I'm not looking at the problem, so I got to pull the problem up. Yes. Okay, it should be a minus. Correct. Okay, so good. So you guys both got to that point. So that's super important. So for 6b, we're using this idea, and big thing is, notice this notation. So remember, your point of a Taylor polynomial, the whole point of these Taylor polynomials or series, however you want to call them, the whole point of them is to approximate f of, or approximate the function f, your function. That's what we're using these for. As we know, the bigger our Taylor series is, the better approximation we have. Oh, cool, came up. So in our case, we used 6a was just asking what's f of x, and then specifically estimate f of 0.2 based off of that. Part B is saying, okay, now we have this new piece of information, and we're looking to actually approximate g of x. Oh, that's not x squared, that's x cubed. Okay, but g of x is equal to f of x cubed. So that means if f of x is equal to all that, then f of x cubed would be equal to 4 plus 5 times, instead of x, we replace with x cubed, minus 1/2 times, instead of x, we replace with x cubed squared. Okay, and then this is, again, this is equal to g of x then, right? So I'm going to simplify this. So that means g of x is equal to 4 plus 5x cubed minus 1/2 x to the 6th. X cubed squared is x to the 6th. But the question says to write the 5th degree Taylor polynomial for g prime. So we need to find what g prime of x is. Well, g prime of x is 4 goes to 0, 5x cubed turns into 15x squared, and then 1/2 x to the 6th turns into 3x to the 5th. And that's it. That's your answer. Right? A 5th degree Taylor polynomial should have a degree of 5. So you should have an x to the 5th somewhere in there. Unless it turns to 0, which they wouldn't ask a question where that happened. So that's kind of your hint for Taylor polynomials. That's your hint to stop, is when you get to the degree. So like for the first one's the 2nd degree, so we should stop at x squared. Same thing with this. Rachel, I thought you had to do a lot more. Yeah, it's not, it does look a little bit difficult. That's why it's super important. I think if you guys wrote f of x like this, if that 6a, if you wrote it like that, I think that would have helped a ton for finding f of x cubed. By the way, when f is about x equals 0, what's another name for that? When you have a Taylor polynomial about x equals 0, what do we call that? Yep, there you go, Rachel, McLaurin. The nice thing about those, as you can see, is usually in this parentheses, I would have like an x minus a, where a is where your polynomial is centered or is about. But in this case, since it's about 0, we can ignore that part, which is kind of nice. But if it's at about x equals 2, every time you see these x's, it would just be x minus 2 cubed and x minus 2 cubed squared. So that's the only difference. But in this case, it's McLaurin. So. And actually, part C is basically what I just said. So for part C, you would do the same thing you did for part A, except now instead of just being x minus 0, it's x minus 1. Because for part C, you were about x equals 1. All right. Hopefully that helps. Just as a reminder, kind of playing the game a little bit, if you think about the AP test, you only got 25 minutes and 15 minutes for each question. If you catch yourself really going down a rabbit hole, and you're, especially like for Taylor polynomials, those can be tricky. If you find yourself working too hard, just notice self-communicate with yourselves like, hey, I'm doing a little too much, being a little extra here. Maybe I got to think a little bit differently. Also for 5D, you said it would be increasing, but I'm confused on that. Okay, so we can take a look at 5D. I'm going to send something really quick, Rachel, sorry, and I'll get over to that. Okay, so 5D. Let me pull back the assignment. 5D. You see exactly what it was saying. Hopefully it'll pop up. Probably won't. Come on, come on, come on. Yeah, all right. Rachel, by the way, actually, now that I'm looking at it, I think I might have said the wrong answer. I think all my work was correct, but I think I actually might have put the wrong answer. So give me a quick second. Let me check. I think looking at my work now, I think it's actually. Wait. No. Wait. No. I think it actually is positive. Hold up. I was right. So, okay, determine whether the amount of substance is changing at an increasing or decreasing rate. Okay. So, let's see what we have in this question. This question says that during a chemical reaction, the function models the amount of substance present in grams. At the start, there are 10 grams per. The function y of t satisfies the differential equation. Okay, so we have this differential equation, dy dt, equals that. So we want to say then, hold up. So the actual question for part D says to determine whether the amount of substance is changing at an increasing or a decreasing rate. Explain your reasoning. So first things first, if we want to check an increasing or decreasing, we have to check the rate of change. Okay, in this case, determine whether the amount of substance is changing at an increasing or decreasing rate. So the amount of the substance changing, that sentence right there is referencing the derivative. So if we want to see the rate at which that's changing, or the rate at which the rate is changing, that's what we call the second derivative. So that had to be your first step, is to find the second derivative. All right, and finding this second derivative is actually pretty straightforward. It's going to be, your original derivative was negative 0.02 y squared. So take the derivative of that, use implicit differentiation, which is important. So it's negative 0.04 y times y prime. Okay, but we know what y prime is. So that's going to be negative 0.04 times. In our case, it's going to be, negative 0.4 y times negative 0.02 y squared. So this is y prime, and then negative 0.04 y just stays out there. And simplifying that even further, a negative times a negative gives me a positive 0.008, which you didn't even need to know what that was. Even though we do have a calculator, it's not a big deal. But most importantly, we know it's positive. And it's y cubed. Y times y squared is y cubed. That's all we need. The actual question says to determine whether the substance is changing, increasing, or decreasing rate. Well, think about the situation. What has to be true about y? The actual question was talking about this amount of substance present. That's what y is equal to. So we got to think to ourselves, what kind of values can y be? And it has to be positive. That's what's really important. Y has to be greater than 0. Okay? Anything that has to do with y has to be greater than 0 because we don't have a negative amount of substance. That doesn't make any sense. It's either you have no substance or you have some substance. Right? So we know that y has to be greater than 0. So because y is greater than 0, y cubed is always going to be positive. Positive times 0.08. This will always be equal to a positive value, which means that it's increasing. So you can just say, I would be more detailed in your answer, but just for the sake of time, it's a positive value, which means it'll be an increasing rate. So I think maybe just don't make sure, Rachel, you're not looking at whether or not you got a fraction. Just because it's a fraction doesn't mean that that means it's decreasing. The rate is still positive. So if you have a positive rate, it's going to be increasing, just at probably a very tiny rate. Yeah, no problem, Rachel. You have a great day. So, guys, I don't know if you got number 1 finished, but make sure you do number 1 as well. So 1, 3, and 4 will all be due by Friday. Or sorry, no, they're not even going to be due. It'll be due next week sometime. Yep, no problem, Liberty. Have a great day. Yeah, so guys, just don't even panic about finishing it by Friday. The 2019 stuff will be due next week. Oh, Rachel or Liberty finished it. Nice. Okay. So I just assign these as homework as a way to keep you on pace. So hope you guys have a good day. I might see you Friday if you have any questions. If not, have a great weekend too. Good morning, Haber. All calculus students, good morning. Go ahead and type in the chat if you're here. I just posted to Google Classroom to try to get you guys on. Today's a very important day, and the schedule's changing a little bit. So bear with me here. We got a little bit of an adjustment to the schedule, which I'll be changing on the calendar, but for now I'm just going to keep it how it is. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. All right. So, guys, go ahead and get, just so you can have it open if you want, go ahead and open up your AP College Board, the 2017 practice exam. Might as well get that open now. We're not going to get started. We're going to start something else, but might as well have it open. I'm having a lot of problems with my AP, so I don't know if I'll be able to get the questions opened up. Wouldn't shock me. That's okay. Make it work. That's what we do here at AP Calculus AB. We adjust. We bounce back. That's how we roll. Let me give it a couple minutes. Like I said, this is some pretty important stuff I'm going to go over. So it's going to take a really big chunk of the time today, guys. So buckle in. It's going to be Mr. Harris talking quite a bit. And I won't be looking at the chat, so I'll have you guys maybe type some stuff in the chat. But as you're typing, I won't see it till the end of my little spiel. So just hang in there as I go through it. Thank you, Jasmine. You like that? So one thing that I did that I thought was pretty clever, but they didn't show, was I had my calculator, and like at the very beginning when they do like the Zoom thing, you like everyone's like saying hi and everything, and you just see me like I just look down. I'm not doing anything. It looks like I'm texting, but what I was doing is I was typing my calculator hello, and then like I flipped it upside down and like showed the computer of it saying hello. And I thought it was pretty nerdy and math-like of me. I was really happy about it, but they didn't show that, unfortunately. But that's okay. Yeah, I thought it was fun. That trick shot. So those of you who saw it, there's a video out for the teachers made for you guys. So a lot of teachers participated in it, and we videotaped ourselves doing random things. And so one of the videos was supposed to be like a introduction in like a unique way. And so my introduction was doing like a trick shot, like a golf trick shot. And so like in my apartment, like I have a upstairs and a downstairs. So like in my upstairs loft area, I chipped a golf ball down from there into a shoe. And like I just said like, I think I said Mr. Harris was dropping in, which is, I thought was pretty funny. You can't really hear it, but anyways, I was doing that, and the first shot I took, literally the first shot. So my brother came over, and he was the one who filmed it. And my very first shot, before filming, I was like, okay, let me just like warm up. I hit the first one. First shot, drained it. And I was like, this is going to be simple. Like, it's going to be the easiest thing ever. And I was like, all right. And then I was like, okay, now you film. And then he started filming. It took me so long. It was so annoying. It took me like another like 10, 15 minutes to hit that shot. And I just thought it was hilarious. Like the first time it looked so easy, just stepped up and drained it. And then the second time, of course. And then afterwards, I thought it was pretty funny. This wasn't in the video, but in the blooper reel, I said first try after I hit it. Even though it was, you could see in the video, I think there's like golf balls like scattered around the shot. So it definitely wasn't my first try. But I don't know. It was really fun to film, I gotta be honest. All right, so let's get started. Hope everyone is doing good. Hope you guys are having a good day. I just had this talk with BC, so I'm getting a little bit, my voice is really starting to bother me a little bit. That's okay. Make it work. So I'm going to go full screen here in a second. just type things in the chat. When I'm done talking, I'll go through everything you guys say. So if you have questions, just go ahead and type it. I'm not going to answer right away. If you have comments, go ahead and type them. If I ask you to comment something, do it. And then at the very end, or I don't know, at some point I'm going to go check the chat. But for now, going full screen. Can't see anything you guys are saying. So this was released last night. At least I saw it last night. Whether or not it was, I'm not really sure. But I think this was released last night. It went in like my junk folder in my email. So luckily I checked it, because this is like really super important stuff. So here's the outline of what's going on. So this is what's called the 2020 AP Testing Guide. Okay, this is going to be a guide for you guys. All things AP test. Now, I will post this. I haven't posted it yet to Google Classroom, but I'll post this guide that you guys can personally review. But I'm going to review it because I know I have you guys here, so I know I can say like definitively at least 10 or 12 of you, I went over this information. You guys were able to see what's going on. And I'll post it so you'll have access to it. So here's what's going on. So there's a bunch of resources you have for the test. It's all available on College Board. This testing guide, like I said, you can access, but I'll post to Google Classroom. An exam day checklist. So not all of you guys are in just this AP. Some of you guys take physics, some of you guys take statistics, some of you take English, some of you take government. There's a bunch of different AP exams you might be taking. So I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to try to stick to AB. So Calc AB, I'm going to try to stick to it. But a lot of the stuff I'll say will apply to all your exams. So this is useful, especially for you guys who are doing multiple exams. So there'll be a checklist. Most of the checklists are the same, but each subject has a little bit of a different checklist of what you need. Required documents is not much for us, so don't have to super worry about that. Testing demo is going to be available May 4th. So that's going to be just a way for you to practice submitting work. You've already had a pretty good amount of practice, but it's even better to do like this testing demo. That'll help you even further. So that'll be available May 4th, so keep an eye out for that. Don't have to worry about world language and culture, and FRQ is available. You can obviously just Google stuff if you have questions. So this guide talks about 4 different things. The AP exam e-ticket, 5 steps to take on exam day or before exam day, what actually is happening on exam day, and then your scores, credit, and college placement, all that is the last thing. So this e-ticket, excuse me, this e-ticket, this is like how you're going to access your test. So those of you who've had like Zoom before, probably teachers have sent out Zoom invites, maybe friends or whatever it may be. You got like a link. It's like a personalized link. Same idea for your AP exam. Which means it's really important that your email is up to date. So I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. Log into College Board. Make sure that your email is up to date. Make sure that the email on file is the email you want your e-ticket to be sent to. You'll receive this e-ticket 2 days before. Every exam has a different e-ticket. Meaning if you're taking statistics, you'll get your own personalized link. Calculus will get its own personalized link, and so on. So organize your inbox. Make sure everything's organized. Make sure that you are ready to go for exam day. You can also access your e-ticket in your student account on My AP. So you log into College Board AP. I don't know where exactly it's at, but you can look around there. You can't transfer. That's why it's important to get sent to the email you want it to get sent to, because it's not going to be, you can't just like forward it to another email. Just make sure your email on file is the correct one. Don't share your e-ticket. That should be common sense. Okay, don't give your link to someone else to do your test. That would make no sense. The AP exam can't accept any additional exam registrations. That's fine. Make sure you save your e-ticket. So don't delete the message after you click it. Obviously, it's just crucial. Any email you get from AP from here on out, don't delete. No matter what, even if you glance at it and it doesn't look important, don't delete it. Save it. It might be important. Keep the ticket though, just because if you do have to take any makeup for whatever reason, you'll have like proof that you got the original ticket. So. Okay, so your e-ticket will be valid for the May exam schedule. Here's your exam. It's going to be the Tuesday, May 12th at 2 p.m. So we are Eastern time, 2 p.m. You're going to be at May 12th. It's a Tuesday. Okay, I thought it was a Friday. I was way off. Huh. So we have next week. Is this? Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. Oh, so I was wrong. I think I told you guys wrong the other day. So we have next Monday, next Tuesday, and then the following Monday, and that's it. So we only have 3 more days, including this one. We only have 3 more days of stream times, besides not including Fridays. So if we included Fridays, we would have 5 extra more, so 5 total days. But Fridays, I'm not teaching anything. I'm just kind of there to review stuff. So just keep that in mind. It's coming up. So you've been scheduled for those dates. I don't think any of you are going to have any issues where we have to do a backup plan. Just you're taking the test May 12th. But if you can't test for whatever reason, things happen, crazy things happen, don't use your e-ticket. You receive a different one for June. So let me know that you can't take it for whatever reason, even if it's last second. I mean, bad things happen. So if it's last second, you're like, I can't do it, I can do something, or we can try to get a solution. But this has to be like circumstances that are unavoidable. It can't be because you slept in and you're trying to make an excuse. It can't be because you're not feeling good. Unless you're hospitalized, you're taking the exam. It can't be, because, I don't know. There's a lot of different other things you can do. But my point is it has to be super serious. It has to be a really, really, really important reason why you can't be there. So keep that in mind. They do offer a June makeup date, so if you can't, another thing too is technology difficulties. So if your power goes out, all right, there's nothing you can do about that. Can't control that. So that's a situation that could arise. You will be able to make it up on June. Again, if things happen, just make sure you contact me, and then we'll work to find a solution. June 1st will be the day makeup day. Future us will figure that out if we need to. Reminders about exam schedule. Moral of the story of this page is just saying, like, hey, don't be an idiot. If you're Eastern time, take it during Eastern time. We don't live in Los Angeles, so we're not taking it at 11 a.m. We live Eastern time in Ohio, so 2 p.m. is where we'll be taking our exam. It'll be taken simultaneously, which I think is interesting, worldwide. So everyone in the world will be taking it all at the same time. It's kind of crazy. Couple things that are important, what to expect in this year's exams. So I know a lot of stuff's going on. They want to make it very clear. I've seen this multiple times. They want to make it extremely clear that it's not going to be more difficult. This exam won't be considered more difficult. How you define difficulty in math, I don't really know, like what their parameter of considering it difficult is. I don't really know exactly, but they say that it's not supposed to be more difficult. Turn a 3, 4, 5. So they said even if an exam's question seems more difficult, don't worry. Difficult questions require fewer points to earn 3s, 4s, and 5s than easier questions require. So that's really important. We only have 2 questions on this exam. So if you're on one of them and you're working through it and you're like, man, this is way harder than I thought. It could be the case, but don't just stop and shut down and not put anything. Like, just keep working through the problem, get what you can get done. Because you can still get partial credit that'll still get you decent scores. If you don't put anything, you're going to get 0, and that's no good. Difficult questions require fewer points. So if it is a difficult question, don't panic, and it's not weighted, but it kind of works like that. The scores, I said this before, I kind of knew this going in. Their intention is they want to keep this as consistent as possible. They don't want everyone getting 4s and 5s. They don't want everyone getting 1s and 2s. They want to keep it how it usually is, where 3 is about the average, 2 to 3 to 4 is the average, 5 and 1s are outliers. They want to keep that same kind of curve, the bell-shaped curve that they've had ever since AP started. However they designed that, these people are very intelligent. They just found a way to design it so they can get that curve. So moral story is it's going to be a similar test as always. Just stay calm, read each part of the question, and simply show what you know and can do within the time you have. Just do the best you can within the time you have. There's no curve. It's not graded on a curve, so just because it's a weird case scenario doesn't mean it's going to be graded on a curve. So the scoring is all the same. You're not competing against anyone else. Don't worry if you don't complete all the parts of the question. So before you need to attach and submit your response, a question may have more parts than can be answered in allowed time. So they might put more on a question. So you might have one, I don't know for sure, but your question for calculus might be 1A through F. So they might even add more parts. And those more parts, not everything's going to be graded entirely. So you just got to use all the time that's allotted. As much time, so you have 25 minutes, use the entire 25 minutes before you take a picture. And then once you get there, just stop in the middle of your work or stop what you're doing and then take a picture and submit it. So you don't need to complete the entire question to get a score of 5, but you do need to submit whatever work you've done. That's just most important. So don't think like you need every single piece. Just get as much as you possibly can. Even if you can't get to the actual solution of a problem, if you know a lot of the steps leading up to it, do those steps. Write those steps down. That's going to give you credit, a certain amount of points. So do it. So what to expect on this year's exams? Because creating good testing environment at home is a challenge, the exam is much shorter, as we know. In a year, the exam provides you with fewer questions and you to show the extent of what you learned. We want to ensure you have a fair opportunity to show what you know and earn college credit. This is really unique, is that I will have the opportunity to review your score and submit, I guess, an argument, almost. So the two parameters being, it has to go through me first. So in whenever this is released, July, whenever your scores are released and the answers and everything are released, I can go through your score. Basically what will be happening is I'll expect you at the time to contact me and say, Mr. Harris, I got a 2. I should have gotten a 3. I don't get it. Can you look at it? I'll look at your test, and I'll be the judge of, yeah, you deserved a 2. Or, no, actually, I agree. I think you deserved a 3. Based on what my decision is, then I'll talk to AP and come to agreement on whether or not the score needs to be changed. As far as I know, this only applies to getting a 3. So anything below a 3 is only reviewable. Like if you get a 4 and you're convinced you need a 5, or you get a 3 and you're convinced you deserve a 4, that's not how it works. That's not reviewable. Again, something future us will figure out. Just hopefully, if I say it now, maybe in July, it'll still, like, in the back of your head, you'll be like, oh, I think Mr. Harris said something about this, and then we can handle it then. Okay, next piece, super important, is this. Hold on. Submissions. A lot of your classes will be just typed. So government and stuff like that, just typed responses. Calculus is obviously different. So this is how it's going to work. And we've already had practice, which is good. So this isn't completely new. You guys can copy and paste a typed response, attach a typed response, or attach one or more photos. We've been doing the latter. So we've been attaching one or more photos. And I think that's still the best option because we haven't typed math all year. You guys have never once been in a program where you had to type your work and try to show like your work on like a document. You haven't done that. If you feel really comfortable with it, then that's your choice. At the end of the day, it's your call. But it just seems to me, it seems insane to want to try to do that like last minute if we haven't practiced or worked at it. So I figure the most important part of this process is the content. You guys are used to writing things on pencil and paper or pen and paper, meaning let's stick to that. So I'm going to go through some information on all of these and talk about what it will take. Again, hopefully most of you guys are swaying towards writing work on a paper and attaching a photo. So option 1 is the copy and paste a typed response. That's just typing a response in Google Docs, Microsoft Word, Notes, some sort of app pages, some sort of application. Obviously, the math, it would involve you learning how to type math into whatever software you use, which actually Google Docs and Microsoft Word isn't very difficult. It's just not the best looking. It's not the most conducive. So I don't recommend it. But if you, like, I know for me personally, like, I'm pretty comfortable with it. I did it in college. I do it all the time when I'm creating assignments for you guys, like tests and quizzes and everything. So like I'm pretty good at using Google Docs and Microsoft Word to type my math. I understand that you guys aren't on the same level though. So I'm not even going to bother spending more time on this. If you guys are really, really strongly considering using this idea, talk to me personally if you have questions. Same thing with attaching a document, it's the exact same idea. Okay, document would be you would just type it in another format, PDF, whatever it may be, and then find a way to submit it. Again, I'm not going to talk about that. This one's what I really want to talk about, option 3, attaching photos. So super, super important. They don't stress it enough. They don't highlight it enough, but this is really important. So you have to write your AP ID, which will be given to you. Might already have it, or it's going to be given to you. I'm not really sure. Your initials and a page number at the top of each page of the response. So let me break this down for you. Some of you guys have been doing a really good job submitting your work. Some of you submit it differently. And this is something I wasn't sure of. So no, it's not your fault at all of how you've been submitting your AP. I haven't been sure of what they wanted, but now I know. You don't want to take a picture of part of a page. That's the moral of the story. If you're ever going to take a picture, you're ever going to submit work, take a picture of the entire document. So like if I'm taking a picture, it should be an entire page that appears in that picture. It shouldn't just be part A. Like I shouldn't see 1A as a picture you submit, or 1B as a picture you submit. It should be an entire page. And every page needs your AP ID, your initials, and the number of the page. Okay? So if you guys have been taking pictures in AP, and your pictures have been of each individual portion, so just 1A, just 1B, 1D. So from here on out, I want you to stop doing that. I want you to take a picture of your entire page. Make it as clear as possible, write big enough so I can read it, but take a picture of the whole response. If your response takes more than one page, so if you got A through C on one page and you have to do part D in the second page, that's fine. Just take 2 separate pictures. Make sure on that second page, though, you have your AP ID, your initials, and the number of the page. Since this is only 2 questions, I predict you guys will only really need 2 pages per question. I doubt you'll need any more. So at the end of the day, your only page numbers you'll have be using is 1 and 2, and AP ID and initials will be on every page. When you're writing a response, write clearly with dark pen or pencil. I always suggest still using pencil, because if you mess up, it'll look a lot neater instead of just taking your pen and scribbling everything out. It would look a lot neater if you can actually erase your work and start over. That's my suggestion. Get a sharpened pencil. If your pencil isn't sharp enough or just doesn't look good enough, you're not happy, then use a pen. That's fine. And just be careful with your work. When the timer has 5 minutes remaining, take a photo of your response in vertical orientation. So super important, guys, it should be vertical, not horizontal. It's not landscape. So when you're taking a photo, just say you would take a photo of, your friends or something, just a normal landscape, vertical taken. It'll be at 5 minutes when you want to do that. Like I said, 1 page per photo. So if your response is longer than 1 page, you'll need to attach multiple photos. So again, you'll take 1 entire page with a photo. If you still have more, you just take an entire page of the next part as a separate photo and a separate page. Obviously, attach your page before you submit. So if you take a picture and it covers the entire question, so you can do 1A through D all in one picture, then post that and submit or upload that picture to every single portion of the question. So A, B, C, and D should all have an attachment, no matter what. Every part of the question should always have an attachment. You should never leave any portion of a question without an attachment. Even if it's the same attachment 4 times, doesn't matter. Just attach a picture to every question. Those pictures need to be in PNG, JPG, or JPEG. Remember that. Most of you guys do that, so I'm not too worried, but if you haven't been, make sure you mark that down. All right. Next order of business that's super important is your setup on exam day. Now, this was something that I needed to talk to you guys about. I talked to BC about, and they had some good suggestions. I want to talk to you guys about. Okay, I don't know exactly how you guys have been taking your pictures. Some people are obvious. Some people I see are doing what I don't want you to do, and I'll address that in a second, so pay close attention. Some of you are doing just fine. And I think the ones who are doing just fine are the ones who are taking pictures on their phone. And then I don't know how you're uploading it. So maybe go ahead in the chat. Actually, do it in the chat. I want you guys to, those of you who've been using your phone to take the picture, I want you to tell me how you've been doing it. So that's the idea. Here's what I want you guys to do. In my opinion, I think it's best to have the AP test open on your laptop. I think that's the best idea. I think it's important to have your laptop open with the charge being charged, plugged in, and I think that that's where you should have your actual assignment up on. It's consistent with what we've been doing all year, because you guys have been using your computer all year, and it just, everything's in front of you. It's not as like confined to a phone. So I highly suggest doing that, which means when you're submitting your work, you're going to need to take a picture or scan it or something. You have to find some way where you can get the picture onto the computer. Whether that's email it to yourself, whether that's uploaded to some shared drive, whatever it may be. You have to do that, and it has to take you 5 minutes to do it. So as a class, we need to come together, and as individuals, you need to make a decision on how you want to do this. So before I look at the chat, here's some of the ideas that I've been told and that I've been thinking of. My favorite idea, I think, is uploading to Google Photos. So we all have a school email account. We can all access Google Photos. If you download the app Google Photos to your phone, you can take a picture and it'll automatically just upload to Google Photos, which you can access on your computers. So you would go to Google Photos, you'd see the picture you just took, click on it, and then directly upload it. And it would be pretty quick. It should take you under 5 minutes. Option number 2 that I like is downloading a scanning app. So like, for example, the app I have, let me check. The app I have is called Adobe Scan. That's my favorite. That's one I really like. Adobe Scan is an app you can download for free. You have to connect it to an email, which is no big deal. Connect it to your school email, and you scan your document. So you just hold your phone up. It'll show you the boxes. It'll scan it, take a picture of your work, and then you can email it directly from the scanner to your email, and then go to your computer email, click on the email, download it, upload it to the College Board. Those are the 2 ideas that I got from BC that I really liked. And I think, as far as I can tell, those are the best options. Another option I thought of is maybe you can connect your phone to your computer. So when you take the picture, it'll just upload it directly to your photos in your computer. I don't know how that works though, so I don't suggest that entirely. If you know what I'm talking about and you've done that before and it works, fine, go ahead. Moral of the story is just make sure you guys have your own, you have an idea, you have a plan going in. You know exactly how you're going to do it. Other option 2 is you guys can just do everything on your phone. So you can take the exam on your phone. It's going to be very confined, so the questions aren't going to be full and like clear to see. It's going to be like you have to scroll to see each question. I don't know how the font's going to appear. There's a lot of unknowns, so it worries me a little bit. If you've been using your phone all year anyways and I just haven't known, then maybe continue doing it. But the nice part about the phone, the advantage is that when you take a picture, you don't have to do anything with the picture. You just take it, and then on your phone, you just upload it directly from your phone. So that's your other option. Those are all the options I can think of right now. Jeez. Someone's doing my lawn. 1 second. I'm going to check the chat now, because now's probably a good time. So Haber says, I email it to myself so it shows up on my computer and I drag it to my desktop where I label them by question, then upload it. Okay. So Haber emails it to himself. That'll work. I think that should be under 5 minutes. Okay, Peyton said the same thing. Andrew said the same thing. Okay, so you 3 do the exact same thing. Oh, okay, Jasmine does the same thing. Okay, so I will say Stacklin her photos turn out really well. I know for a fact. I think, though, the rest of you guys, like Andrew, Payne, Emma, yours all are fine, too. But I know Stacklin specifically, hers are always very neat. She says she submits the photo using Google Drive. It doesn't compress the photo like email. And then have Google Drive on my computer and download it, then submit. Okay, so Stacklin uploads it to Google Drive and then goes into her Google Drive. And okay, I like that idea as well. So if you have the app on your phone, you can just upload something to Google Drive. Okay, cool. So those are good options. So no one does the scanning, but if you guys are interested, do that like now. Start submitting it now or figuring out now. If you guys are confident with, so it looks like most of you guys have the same kind of idea. If you guys are all confident with that process, you can do it in under 5 minutes. I'm going to trust your judgment on that. By all means, stick to that. Okay, cool. Back to full screen. Oh, also, sorry, Andrew. I might as well just address this now. Where do we find our AP IDs? I don't actually know because, like, Mr. Harris doesn't get an AP ID. So I don't know. I'm guessing, though, it would be somewhere, like, up by your name. Somewhere up here. So, Andrew, I would say mess around with that. If not, I'm sure if you go to frequently asked questions or help and search app or AP ID, you can find it pretty easily. So that'd be my suggestion to you, Andrew. Okay, moving on. Don't have to worry about music theory. Don't have to worry about world language. Don't worry about accommodations. Makeup date. Again, it's got to be something very, very important or very like crazy that happens to you in order to be. Let me think of the word. In order to be able to use the makeup exam date, I guess would be the wording. So it has to be certain situations. Don't just have it in your head that you're taking it on the day. If you do need to make it up for some reason, there's a request form. Talk to me first and tell me the situation, and then we'll work together to get you potentially back up and taking in the makeup. So you got to submit this within 48 hours of your original exam date. So the reason they're doing this is because they don't want you to like sleep in, and then that's the reason you need to make up. That's just not how it works. I don't think anyone's sleeping in until 2, by the way, but I don't know if you're forget like some crazy situation happens and like you literally forget you have the AP exam. That's not what this intention is. It's supposed to be like last second crazy things happen, but you still got to submit the form within 48 hours. So like I said, if you can't make this test, something happens for whatever reason, contact me immediately, and then we gotta get the process rolling. If you need to take that makeup. Do not call AP services. Like I said, contact me. We'll figure it out. You will need approval for any of the following types of issues. So if you get a sickness, significant interruptions from family members, battery failures, power outages, technical disruptions. That's going to be, it's case by case, sticky situations. Really important though, running out of time to submit a response isn't viable. That's your fault. If you run out of time in submitting a response, if there's a minute left and then you decide to take the picture and upload it, that's your fault. And there's nothing anyone can do for you. Which is why they're very specific. Once that 5-minute mark hits, submit your work, whatever work you have. They don't care whether you're done or not. It's more important you get what work you do have in than getting no work at all in. Okay, so the day you actually take the test, there's going to be an exam screen. It'll walk you through everything. You guys are smart. You've been around technology long enough. I don't think that's going to be any issue. Just follow the directions. So 5 steps to take before exam day. Review your contact information. I've mentioned this before. Those of you who are watching, super important. Go into your AP. Go to your settings. Make sure the email account that you have locked into AP is the one you want to use. In other words, it's your school email. Double check that. Make sure that's the case because that's going to be the email you access to get your e-ticket. Your technology, just make sure before exam day you're not having any bugs. College Board's working properly. Your Wi-Fi is good. Your phone is good. Like, just make sure, account for everything. Check anything you might use. Check to make sure it's working. Also, with checking your technology, make sure everything is charged. Your calculator, your phone, your computer, anything you use, make sure it's charged the night before. It's ready to go. Practice submitting your response. You guys have already had practice, which is good. So we've had a lot of practice already, but there is going to be an AP exam demo. So I'm assuming it's not just going to be like the questions. It'll probably walk you through the whole process of what you'll see on exam day. I highly, highly recommend on May 4th you guys try this or sometime before the test. Try the demo. It'll just make you comfortable. So when the real thing happens, you'll see it and you'll be like, okay, I've done this before. And then you'll know for a fact how long it takes you to submit your work. So from the time that 5 minutes hits to the time you take a picture, upload it, and everything, how long does that take? I think it's going to be important for you to get that information. So that'll give you like what's the max amount of time you can take to answer the question. Gather what you need for each exam is common sense, and then you'll receive information or confirmation e-ticket. I'll post this to Google Classroom, so if you guys need to review your contact information still, this will be the directions. Don't worry, like I said, I'll post that. You won't need a lockdown browser on your device. So either if you're using a phone or a computer or a tablet, you won't need a lockdown browser. Don't need to worry about that. For some of your other classes, it's not going to be an issue for AP Calc. Other classes, if you're using Grammarly, you have to remove that plugin. Just keep that in mind for those exams in case your teacher forgets to tell you or anything. Just get rid of Grammarly. When choosing between handwriting and typing, keep in mind the issues questions won't require you to submit graphs or diagrams. So, for instance, that differential equation problems we've been having, every once in a while you have a slope field you have to make. You don't have to worry about that. You won't have a slope field for the test. Or you might just have to like sketch a graph on on a slope field, sketch like the behavior of the differential equation. Again, not something you'll need to do. You may be comfortable handwriting responses in calculus, right? But if you want to type your responses, so if you do choose to type it, if you're really worried about the photos, it just doesn't work. Maybe your phone just doesn't take good photos, and you're not happy about it, and you're like, typing might be my only option. They have an entire document to show you how to go through typing on the system. It's something you had to practice. Like, don't just do it on the day of. Put a lot of time into practice into it because it's not always straightforward and easy. Google Word, like I said, Google Word, is that what it's called? Google Documents, and Microsoft Word are both decent ways to type math. Not ideal, but they're decent enough. I doubt any of you are, but if you guys are fluent in code at all, there's a lot of different coding softwares you can use to type math in. Like LaTeX is the one I use. So that can also help you if you're comfortable with that. But like I said, I doubt that's very many people. So like I said, I recommended a laptop, and that they said the same thing. Using a smartphone is kind of annoying. It's just too small, and you have to scroll, and a lot of things can go wrong. Just a lot of things can go wrong. You can accidentally completely, like, think about this. Think about if you're using a phone to take the test, and you swipe up on the phone to click on another tab, and you accidentally get rid of your test. Like, you flip up on your test and just gone. I mean, that's like the worst case scenario, and it's so easy to do. So, to me, using your phone is just not a good idea. But I understand. We all have computers. There's no excuse not to use your computer. Okay. Don't need to prepare your documents for typing. Okay, so this is really important, is preparing your documents for handwriting. Use white paper. That should be normal. Everyone I've graded has been using white paper, like normal notebook paper. Keep doing that. Use a number 2 pencil or a black or blue ink. So some of you like to use pens. That's fine. I think pencils are still good just because you don't want someone grading your AP test and they just see a bunch of like crazy crossed out work. They're not going to grade that, and that's okay, but it doesn't look neat if they see just like big pens just like going through the entire paper, Xing things out and crossing things out. If you put like a 2 instead of a 3, you need to change that. There's no easy way to do it. I would recommend using a pencil and have an eraser. That's my opinion. Again, though, it's your call at the end of the day. Maximum number of pages you can attach per question is 5. Don't need to worry about that. You'll be fine. Before test day, prepare your pages. So already have your pages ready to go with your AP ID, your initials, and a page number. Just have them already ready. There's no point in not. Just give yourself more pages than you think you need. So if you give yourself like 3 pages for question 1, and just put page 1, 2, and 3, put your AP ID and your initials on each one of them, so you already have them ready for question 1. And you're already ready to go. That way you're saving time. Like, the more time you can save, the better you'll do at the test. So have that all done. Don't try to panic and do that during the test. You could screw up, or you're just wasting time. Like I said, this demo is going to come out on the 4th of May. I would definitely recommend looking into that. What you need on your exam day is a calculator, for sure. Charge calculator. Keyboarding tips if you're using your typing, which I doubt most of you will, or any of you will. And then I'll have probably a formula sheet. Well, I will have a formula sheet. You probably want to have that out. So your formula sheet will probably be in a tab. Unless you have a printer and you can actually print it out, then go ahead and do that. If not, just have it open in another tab on your computer or on your phone, whatever you may decide to do. And just have that up and open so you can reference that during the exam. Those would be the 2 main resources you'll need. I can't think of anything else. Okay, advice about optional resources. So here's some of the stuff you can use. This is a really important page too. On the AP test, here's what you can use. You can use your class notes or study guides, so your entire notebook is fair game. Any handouts I've given it are fair games. Textbooks, fair game. So you can have your textbook out, your calculus textbook out. Previous assignments or assessments, obviously, are fair game. And calculators, obviously, fair game. Shared study notes, I don't think anyone has, but if you do, just make sure they're downloaded. Internet searches will waste your time and put you at risk of an exam violation. I've said this when it first came out. I knew this was going to be the case before even they came out with any information on it. Like, the internet is not a resource for you. It's not a viable resource. It's not going to help you. You're not going to get any use out of it. It's only going to waste your time and give you information that's not going to benefit you. So the more time you spend searching the web, the less time you spend answering exam questions. That's just the fact. Internet-based facts, research, and opinions aren't relevant to the AP exam and won't raise your scores. These people aren't stupid. You guys got to make sure you understand that. They took a lot of care and time into creating these exams. They're not Googleable. You're not going to be able to copy and paste the question into Google and it's going to pop up. It's just not going to happen. So don't even try it. You're just wasting time if you do. Okay, looking up formulas, again, you're just typing. That's spending time typing. I know it doesn't seem like much, but if you do it often, it's not worth it. So just have everything already organized, laid out for yourself. Also, copying from websites, social media, or online forums is considered plagiarism and will be detected and scores canceled. Here's the way I see it. The only thing you're going to be using online for, the internet for, is if you already have, like I said, assignment maybe we did at some point already up, or handout we have and you'd rather just see a PDF rather than physical copy. Anything like that, have up, or Desmos, or another calculator, Symbol Lab, or something like that, where it'll just do some calculations real quick for you in case you're not comfortable with your TI-84 or 83, or calculator in general. So some of you guys, I know some of you guys don't have the best calculators, and there's stuff like, Peyton, you're just someone I know I've talked to about and I've heard from before, so like her calculator is a little bit older, so in order for her to put in an integral or a derivative, it's way more complicated than like those of you who have the TI-84. You have to put like commas, and it doesn't show you fraction bars or anything. It's not. I had to do it. I had the same calculator, so I'm in college. I had to use it too, and it's just not conducive. I don't love it. So, like Desmos or another online calculator would also be good for that. But again, it's only being used to calculate answers. So like you can use a calculator. If I'm asking you to find the derivative at x equals 3, you can plug that into an online calculator and use it not for the work, but use it to get the actual answer. So you do all the work. You just, instead of using U substitution or something, you can just plug it in. Okay, I know that was long-winded, but moral of the story is that's what online should be used for, only for like calculation purposes. Don't delete any emails you get from AP. One of them, 2 days before any of your exams, you're going to get this e-ticket. Just please, for the love of God, do not delete it. Oh, Andrew, I just saw this. It looks like that email will include your AP ID. So if you can't find your AP ID, it looks like you'll get an email with your AP ID. So don't worry about that. That'll come with your e-ticket. Perfect. So that'll be 2 days before. So that'll be on May 10th. You'll get that. Here's an AP checklist. If you guys want to go over this checklist, if that's something that you think would help you, please go onto my Google Classroom when I post this, and you can look at this and do it all yourself. On actual exam day, here's how ours is set up. You'll have 30 minutes before your local start time. So 30 minutes before, so at 1:30, you're going to want to log in, use your e-ticket. You're going to want to complete identity information, which is just like a normal test, standardized test. You'll fill out all that crap. Social security, ethnicity, all that good stuff. And then you'll sit and wait. So at 2 o'clock, it'll open. First question will be 25 minutes. 30 minutes, well, the first question will be 30 minutes. You'll have 30 minutes to do it. They recommend use the first 25 to do the question, the last 5 minutes just to submit. So the intention is you should be done in 25 minutes. If you take, again, don't push it. Like I highly, highly, highly suggest at 25 minutes, the second that clock says 5 minutes left, you stop what you're doing. I don't care if you're in the middle of a problem. I don't care if you're almost done. You just need 2 minutes extra. I don't care. I mean, it's up to you at the end of the day. I can't stop you if you want to take the risk. But if you think you can answer the question and you keep working, next thing you know, you look up, it's 1 minute left to submit your work, you're screwed. There's nothing you can do about it. And then you get a 0 rather than getting a 4 with the work you had. Okay? That's my opinion. It's not worth risking the extra time. If you want to live on the edge a little bit, that's your prerogative. You can do what you want to do. But my personal, humble opinion is to not risk it. The second question will be 15 minutes long and 5 minutes to submit. So 20 minutes total, and then you're done. That's it. That's your AP AB exam. Okay, testing environment, another important piece. Some of you guys have a lot of family. Well, some of you guys have like a lot of people in your house. And this is occurring on like a Tuesday, right? I think it was. So you're going to have siblings working on their schoolwork during 2 o'clock. You're going to have parents who might be working from home. You know, there's a lot of different things that could be going on. So here's some of the stuff you need for your testing environment. First off, make it very clear to your family when you're taking your AP exams. Say, listen, mom, dad, brother, sister, grandma, cousin, whoever's in your house, I'm doing this right now. So shut up. Just don't call for my name. Don't come into my workspace. Don't yell. Don't even speak a word. Like, just be completely silent so you'll have, you can be entirely focused on what you're doing. Yeah, if you have a cell phone, so you guys will be using cell phones to take pictures, I would put like a do not disturb or airplane mode or something. No, probably not airplane mode because you're gonna need your Wi-Fi to upload your photos. So don't do that. But I would do something like do not disturb. So some sort of setting so you're not getting text messages or phone calls. Because even if they're not gonna be watching or monitoring you. But I don't know, it's not worth it. So just try to get your device so you're not getting any distractions. No Snapchat notifications, nothing. Like I said, let everyone know that you're taking the test so they don't disturb you. Have some brains, have some common sense. Work somewhere where you have an outlet, so your phone's charged, your laptop's charged, everything's good. So this is a big one is internet access, internet capabilities. My recommendation is to work as close to your router as possible. If your router's in your basement, don't work in your bedroom upstairs. Don't take the test up there. Find a way to take the test in the basement as close to the router as possible so you're not going to have any internet issues. Tell everyone in your family to stay off Netflix, stay off gaming, don't play Fortnite, don't go on a Zoom call, don't live stream. It takes up a lot of bandwidth. Just make sure they know for an hour you need all the Wi-Fi. And for them to try to stay off it as much as possible. Have that conversation with your family. It's very important. Have your checklist. More specifically, have your required documents. So any document you need open, your notes, your book, have it all ready. Okay, exam security. You may not incorporate work which is not your own. You may not provide or receive aid of any kind. So you can't text message your friends. You can't call your friends. You can't go on social media and post stuff. None of that can happen. Okay, you're on your own. This is your AP exam, just like a normal one would be. So you're not going to receive aid from a parent or a sibling. None of that. Can't. Okay, to identify students attempting to receive help through a web, a phone, or social media. Sophisticated detection technologies and processes will be applied. Guys, that's how it's so sophisticated they're not going to give us any information on it. You'd be insane to think they're bluffing. Okay, this isn't a bluff. They're not giving us information on purpose. Because this software is very good at what it does. So, like I said, don't use the web for anything other than calculations. Don't use your phone to text anyone or call anyone. Definitely don't use social media. Obviously, none of that. Just treat this as if it was a lockdown browser test. That the only advantage that you get is that you get notes in a formula sheet and stuff. We will be monitoring social media and discussion sites to detect and disrupt cheating. People are going to try. They'll be monitoring it. They said we may post content designed to confuse and deter those who attempt to cheat. Attempts to cheat will be detected immediately during testing or will be identified in June and July when scoring. So your exams will be scanned for plagiarism and shared directly with teachers. So I'll be getting information on your tests as well. Students who do get found violating exam security will face severe consequences, which can include having their names reported to college admissions offices for attempted cheating. And on a minor scale, your entire AP score just gets canceled. But that first one, most of you guys in AP, you guys are going to college. You do not want your college admissions people to be seeing that you cheated on an AP exam. It's much better that you don't do well than that you get caught cheating. So if you even think that it could be construed as cheating, or something just doesn't tell you, like it just doesn't feel right, you're just not comfortable with what you're doing, don't do it. It's not worth it. Okay, and then you guys can look at this link. This is so if you're snitching, you can report any cheating attempts on that site. Exam security can be found at that link, so when I post this to Google Classroom, you guys can see that. Okay, checking in, just check in 30 minutes before, answering. So this is all just stuff you guys can look through at the time, or look up through on your own. Managing your time, like I said, it's just, even if you don't finish a response, you can still get full credit. So don't feel like you need to panic. Just do what you can and submit what you can. Submitting your response, you guys are used to. It's pretty easy. You paste you upload your work, blah, 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 and you press submit. Not too bad. Here's some things that could go wrong. You could accidentally close your browser, your device could crash, or you could lose internet access. You can quickly click your exam e-ticket again. So you can still, like I said earlier, if you accidentally on your phone and you close out of the browser, you can still get back pretty quickly. It's just wasting time in the middle of your exam. It could waste 5 minutes getting back. So just try to avoid that. If you do have something that happens like that, like the power goes out, the internet goes out, and you're like, this is not good, you can request this makeup exam. And when you request the makeup exam, you just type in like, hey, something happened. And then you can take the makeup. Don't refresh your browser or hit back arrow. Okay, so during the exam, do not refresh your browser, hit the back arrow. Don't do it. So if you accidentally submit your work and you're like, oh crap, I forgot something. Let me go back. It's too late. You submitted it. It's done. It's over. Just so make sure before you submit that you're very positive you put everything correctly. Okay, don't call customer service. I didn't expect any of you to anyways. Exams grade scores are the same thing, 1 through 5, just like always. Nothing different there. Okay, that's it. Use Chrome. I'm sure most of you do anyways, but I recommend using Chrome. I like Chrome better. You can still use Safari or Firefox though if you prefer. I prefer Chrome. That's what I would recommend. Okay, that is everything. All right, and it looks like I have nothing in the chat, so got about 5 minutes. That means we're not going to be doing any work today. So here's what I'm going to actually do. I'll tell you what, because I know that the people in this chat right now are the people who will probably be there. I'm going to move everything to Friday. So on Friday, we're actually going to have a day where I'm teaching. So I'm going to change my my calendar right now, so you guys will see the updated. I want you to do, I'm going to post it, actually, hold on. So I'm editing the calendar right now. You're going to have a different homework assignment. Your homework assignment tonight is what we would have done in class. So you're going to do questions 2 and 3 for homework today. Now, here's the thing, and this is why I don't really care about this, is this 2017 international exam is due next week anyways, so don't panic. If you don't feel like you need to get 2 and 3 done. I would like to because I'm going to go over it on Friday, but just don't panic. By Friday night, you need to get the entire assignment done. The 2017 international practice exam is due next week. Okay, cool. So that's all I got for you guys. I know it was a ton of talking, but I think it was hopefully beneficial that I went through it all, and now you guys can go through it on your own when I post it to Google Classroom, but now maybe it eases your mind a little bit. You have a better understanding of what's going on. So any questions you guys got, go ahead and type in the chat. We are out of time, unfortunately. So I didn't get to do any math today. That's okay. This is pretty important stuff. I'm going to make up for it Friday. So please tune in Friday at 10 o'clock, and I'll be reviewing any 2017 assignment 1 through 3. I'll be reviewing all of those assignments on Friday, and then once we're done with that, I will go over question 4, and then question 6 will be your homework over the weekend. Sound like a plan, people? Hopefully. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions on anything that I talked about or any assignments in general, please let me know. Email me, talk to me during office hour, whatever it may be, and I'm more than happy to help out. You too, Haver. Thank you. Have a great day. All right. Good morning, Algebra 2. If you guys are calculus people, have a good rest of your day. Algebra 2, good morning. Gidio, how are you doing? If you're in Algebra 2, go ahead and sound off in the chat there. Let me know who's all here. Sierra, good morning. I'm doing good, Sarah. Calculus, I just spent the last 2 hours talking to them about their AP tests. So I talked a ton today and kind of sick of talking, but that happens. All right, guys, I'm gonna give us a quick warm up. So while I'm waiting for some people to hop into the stream, this is the problem I want you to do. So in your piece of paper, this is from 8.2. This is my way to see like how we're looking on 8.2. I want you guys to do that on your own right now, and then in a couple minutes I'll check your work. Okay. That is all x's. Every single variable is an x. So that's x squared here. I'm getting a question about the stream. I'm trying to get it, but I can't get on. It's asking me to have G Suite kind of. I don't know what to do. I'm just going to have to stream. Okay, let me see if I can get Jade and Dudek onto the stream. Yeah, no problem, Sierra. Okay, so guys, if you, I know Sarah and Sierra are both here. If you, I know it looks like I have 4 people. If you're someone else in this stream right now, go ahead and type something in the chat so I just know who I'm talking to. So I don't just feel like, don't be shy. I just don't want to have to like, I won't bother you. Just let me know who's here. Yeah. Look at that, Sierra. I don't really understand that. Whatever. Maybe someone has me like my stream still up in the background while they're working on stuff. I don't really know. They're not. They might have me muted, or I'm not really sure. That's the one thing that's the downside of this is I can never check who's on unless you guys type in the chat. But a pretty weak showing today, just 4 people, which I guess I'm not too surprised. I think some people are starting to mail it in a little bit, but that's unfortunate. But hey, I appreciate Sarah, you, Sierra, you too. Hey, Damon's here. All right, that's what I'm talking about, Damon. All right, so I got 3 people I can talk to. So Damon, Sierra, Sarah, I appreciate all 3 of you guys being here. I'm just going to go ahead and get started. So Damon, I think you just popped in. Go ahead and get your notes out. I'm going to go over, this is a warm-up problem we're doing just as a review of what we did on Monday. So I ask you to simplify this. All right? First things first is we want to factor anything we can factor in the entire, I guess, expression. Okay? So 4x can't be factored. Just keep it as 4x. 5 can't be factored. It's just 5. X plus 6 can't be factored. Just x plus 6. So the only thing that can be factored is the denominator of the first fraction. And we can factor that into a number, or into 2 factors where the numbers multiply to 18 and add to 9. So in my head, I'm thinking of factors of 18, and then I find 6 and 3. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 plus 3 is 9. So x plus 6, because it's positive 6 times positive 3. So that's the factored form of that denominator. And now I know my common denominator. Okay, my common denominator is going to be x plus 6, because they both have those in common, and then I need an x plus 3. So I look at this first fraction. This first fraction has an x plus 6 and x plus 3, so I keep the numerator the same. Don't have to multiply it by anything. The second fraction has only an x plus 6. So in order to put an x plus 3 in the denominator, I need to multiply the numerator by x plus 3. So I do 5 times x plus 3. Simplifying this, I get 4x plus 5x is 9x. 5 times 3 is 15. So 9x plus 15 divided by x plus 6 times x plus 3. And bam. That is your answer. What do you guys think? So you 3 that I know are in here, what's your feedback? Are you good with that stuff? Is that easy? Does that make sense? How are we feeling about that? That's what I got. I'm good. All right, cool. Damon, how about you? Okay, Damon, ignore me. I see how it is. Now, maybe you're typing. I'm just joking around. The thing about the stream, I got to give it a second just in case. There, he is typing. Nice. All right. Honestly, it depends because I'm not lost in this problem, but it still took me a few minutes to get the right place. That's okay. I don't mind that, Damon. What's really important, guys, is I want to make sure we understand to make a common denominator, we have to first factor everything. So whenever we're doing these problems, we always have to factor everything. which is step number 1. So if you're not comfortable with factoring, that's going to be a little bit of an issue. You got to keep practicing that. And then after you factor, making sure you get a common denominator to add them together. Those are the main things. And doing the common denominator is just like we would with normal fractions. You guys have been doing that for a long time. Obviously, if it's something you still want extra practice with, come see me. I'm more than happy to give you some. But I do have to move on. And today we're going to be moving to 8.4. So let me switch my screen up so you can see my screen. So go ahead in your books if you would be so kind as to get to 8.4 in your books. This is the page it's going to look at. So go ahead in the chat. Let me know when you're there. What page? 553. You're allowed to ask me what page I was warranted because that was my fault. I actually didn't say what page. So that time I'm okay with answering. But now that I have it and typed it, none of you else better be asking me what page. You're welcome, Sierra. Man, yesterday was a beautiful day, guys. I hope you guys got to go outside, enjoy the nice weather. Hopefully you found some stuff to do. I hear the birds chirping, but I think it's supposed to rain today. I don't know when. I think it was already raining a little bit, but see, I'm unpopular opinion maybe, but I love warm weather rain. Like I love when it's warm out and it rains. And like going outside after it rains, love it. I love warm weather in general. I was telling calculus classes earlier, like this, now that it's getting like, once it's 60 and above, Mr. Harris is a happy camper. Like I'm very happy 60 and above. It changes my mood completely. Sarah, sometime around 3, yeah, that sounds right. But I don't know about you guys, but like my mood gets changed. Even though like I'm not outside that much because of the quarantine and everything, I haven't really been outside all that much. When the weather is nice, my entire mood is different. I'm in such a better mood. I'm happier, ready to go, more motivated. I'm just not a winter person at all. The only thing I like about winter is it's basketball season. Other than that, I hate all of it. Hate the snow. Hate the cold. Hate that it's dark at like 5 o'clock. Hate it all. I'm sorry. I don't understand you people who like the winter. I like winter for one day and it's Christmas. Other than that, you can get rid of it. I don't want it. Okay, so I'm thinking everyone's on that page now after Mr. Harris's rant. And we're going to talk about graphing rational functions. As usual, I'm not as concerned with your ability to actually graph it, because the graphing portion is going to be a lot of Desmos. So you're going to use Desmos to get like actual points and kind of behaviors of graphs. What I'm more concerned about is us algebraically being able to find key features of rational function graphs. All right, so I'm going to read as a little introduction, and then I'm going to kind of talk about what we're headed into. So Regina bought a digital SLR camera and a photo printer for $350. I'm looking at this Y up here at the top. The manufacturer claims that ink and photo paper cost 0.47, so 47 cents per photo. The rational function that can be used to determine the average cost. So they're just giving you a rational function. A rational function, the only difference between a rational function and an expression is an equal sign, right? A function should have a function is equal to. When we say function, we notate it like this: C of P, f of x. Those are what we call functions. It's saying here's your y value, and it's all dependent on what you make x. X is your independent variable, y is your dependent variable because it's dependent on x. All right, so that's just a reminder what a function is. We're still working with rational expressions within the function. So that part isn't changing. The stuff we did from 8.1 and 8.2, that's going to stay the same. We're still going to be working with rational expressions, except now we're going to be working with equations and graphing and all that good stuff. All right. So I was saying that there's key features to rational functions. There's key features to every function. Like very specific, like exponential. We just got done with exponentials and logarithmics last unit. Some key features you guys should be thinking about is horizontal asymptotes. Those were the big features of our exponentials and logarithmic. We had horizontal asymptotes. If you remember, horizontal asymptote is a imaginary line that's created to prevent the graph from going below it. It's like a threshold is the way I kind of look at it. Like a real world example would be like a population of tigers. All right, the population can only get so big before they run out of food. So like there's a maximum threshold. Like you can only have 200 tigers, let's say. That means that that's your asymptote, 200. That means that the graph can never get more than that. Because if it does, if it's 201 tigers, they'll die out because all the resources will be eaten and gone and they won't be able to survive. So that's the idea of asymptotes. There's some reason that they're there. And the nice thing is we can do word problems and we can connect that reasoning. So we can actually find the reason. If not, though, we can just look algebraically and actually find what the asymptotes are. So a rational function has an equation of the form f of x equals a of x over b of x, where a and x and b of x are polynomial functions. I don't think you need to write that down because I think that we've covered that enough this unit. I've made it very clear every time I'm on stream. I've made it clear what a rational expression is. It's a polynomial over a polynomial. They just formulate it as a of x over b of x. In order to graph a rational function, it is helpful to locate the zeros and asymptotes. A zero of a rational function occurs at every value of x for which a of x equals 0. So guys, we should know that. We should know that in order to find the y-intercept, you let x equal 0. In order to find the x-intercepts, you let y equal to 0. Or a of x in this case equal to 0. Alright, so that's stuff we know. I don't think that's going to be completely new. The asymptotes are a little bit different. Okay. Alright guys, I know you're going to be like, Mr. Harris, no, I hate you. But I would like you guys to copy this key concept down. I think this would be useful to you. So go ahead and take the next 5 minutes or so, copy down that key concept. I think this is going to be useful. So. And please type in the chat when you're done. So after you're done writing this out, I will go over it. All right, thank you, Damon and Sierra. So I'm just going to see if Digidio's almost done. Give her a minute. All right, cool. Digidio's done. Perfect. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Vertical and horizontal asymptotes. So this kind of covers everything you need to look for in these situations. So we're given, you guys already have this stuff written down, but I'm just going to write it on my piece of paper just to have it. So this is what's given to you. I know that looks like a Q. That's an A. It's a poorly written A. So this is like a general outline of our rational functions. F of x, it could be A of x, T of x, it doesn't really matter. Whatever this is equal to a polynomial over a polynomial. And then there's a couple ways we can find these key properties, the key features of the graph, which we call asymptotes. F of x has a vertical asymptote whenever b of x equals 0. Okay, I don't know why I'm writing this down. I guess I really don't need to. You already have it down. But this is really important. God, my handwriting is so bad today too. I gotta focus up. Let's think about why this makes sense. So you guys know, if you guys put in your calculator 7 divided by 0, anything divided by 0, you get undefined. That's really important. That's why that's a vertical asymptote. A vertical asymptote literally means what x value makes a function undefined. That's what a vertical asymptote is. That's the meaning of a vertical asymptote. And 100% of the time, it's when the denominator is equal to 0. It doesn't have to even be a rational function. It can be any sort of function, any sort of fraction. Regardless of what it is, though, a vertical asymptote is found by setting the denominator equal to 0. This is such an important concept, and it's a concept we use in pre-calc. It's a concept you use in calculus. It's a concept you see forever in math. The idea of a denominator being 0 means that it's undefined at that point. And so the reason why it's undefined is there's no x values that exist there. X cannot be whatever makes it 0, the denominator 0. So that's why we put this imaginary dotted line to signify that. That's not happening. Okay? So let's look at horizontal asymptotes. F of x has at the most one horizontal asymptote. Now there's 3 different ways we're looking at this. This is again a very important concept you'll see in pre-calc and you'll see in calculus if you guys get to that point. Now I really want you guys to focus on these, and this is going to take a little bit of practice and getting used to it. So it says something about a degree. So each of these little bullet points say if a degree, if the degree. So let me actually go to my screen here, and I can just show you with my mouse. So this is where I'm looking at right now. If the degree, if the degree, if the degree. What does it mean for a degree? So let me ask you guys, go ahead in the chat. Tell me, what is a degree of a polynomial? What does that mean? How do we find it? What are we looking for? Okay, good, Sarah. I like that. Let's be even more specific. The actual degree. So, because the degree is a number, it could be 3, 4. There you go, Sierra. So put Sarah's. Sierra kind of added to Sarah's. Looking for the highest exponent in the function. Perfect. So whatever our numerator polynomial is, to find the degree, it's the highest exponent. So if you have x to the 5th plus x squared plus 4, your highest exponent is x to the 5th. So 5 would be your degree. So whenever I'm referencing a degree, that's what I'm referring to. So, since the numerator and denominator are both polynomials, then we know, good Damon, okay, so Damon's right. So since we know that the numerator and denominator are both polynomials, then we know that they both have exponents in them. What the degree is going to be, we have to check. But we know it's going to be like something of the form x squared plus 2x plus 3, 2x plus 1, 17x to the 60th minus 50, whatever crazy thing you can think of. We know it's going to be in that setup. So all we have to do to find the horizontal asymptote is look at the degrees of the numerator and denominator. So if a of x is greater, in other words, if the numerator has a higher degree than the denominator, there is no horizontal asymptote. Again, if the degree of a of x is greater than b of x, so the degree of the numerator is greater than the degree of the denominator, there is no horizontal asymptote. For example, let me just do like a very, very quick example. 2x to the 3rd plus 2 divided by 4x minus 1. Hold on. Don't have to copy this down, just take a look at it. This degree is 3, and this one is 1. So 3 is greater than 1, no horizontal asymptote. That's what I mean by looking at the degree. The highest degree in the numerator is 3, the highest degree in the denominator is 1. Since 3 is greater than 1, there's no horizontal asymptote. That's the thought process we need to take. Second one, if the degree of the numerator is less than the degree of the denominator, then there's a horizontal asymptote at y equals 0. So if these were reversed, if it was x to the first, if 4x minus 1 divided by 2x cubed plus 2, that would go to 0. The horizontal asymptote would be 0. And finally, the third and final type of horizontal asymptote. If the degrees of the numerator and denominators are both equal. Okay, good to see you, Jay. No problem. We're on page 553 right now, and we copied down the key concept on that page. So just try to pick up where we left off. You can watch the beginning of the stream to get everything else. All right, so if the degrees are equal, let's look at an example of that. So equal degrees. 4x squared minus x divided by 3x squared minus 2 equals. Or sorry, I'm not going to put equals. I should put that. Notice 2 and 2. Those are equal degrees. The highest degree in the numerator is 2. The highest degree in the denominator is 2. Because of that, to find where the horizontal asymptote is, we take the coefficients in front of that degree. So I'll refer to it as HA. That's short for horizontal asymptote, would be 4/3. Because that's the coefficients in front of those degrees. Those are your three options. Numerator is bigger than denominator. That means there is no horizontal asymptote. Denominator is bigger than numerator. That means that horizontal asymptote is at y equals 0. And if the degrees are equal, the horizontal asymptote occurs at the coefficients, the leading coefficients of your two numerator and denominator. Okay, I'm going to flip to the next page. That kind of sums up everything in that table. So let's look at the next page in our book. All right, so like I said at the beginning of the chapter, I I am not concerned in your ability of typing these into Desmos. If there's ever a point in this, you get an assignment, whether it's Khan Academy, Alex, in the book, whatever it may be, and I ask you to graph something, I don't need you to get a table. I don't need you to do any of that. I just want you to throw it into Desmos and graph it. What I'm really concerned about is these asymptotes and being able to identify them. Okay, so let's look at this first example. I'm not going to follow their script. So I'm going to kind of do my own thing here. Now, I'll show you guys in a second how I want you to answer these questions. Because the questions are going to be similar to this. It's going to say to graph something. So when I say questions, I mean your Alex assignment. It's going to ask you to graph the function. And you're going to have to include the asymptotes. That's the key, is you're going to have to include the asymptotes. You can look at a graph and you can have a pretty good idea of what the asymptotes are, just by the behavior of the graph, which I'll show you. But if not, if you're not sure, then we can actually algebraically find them. And here's how we're going to do it. So this is going to be example 1. We have x cubed divided by x minus 1. Again, like I said, you'll see me use this abbreviation a lot, and you'll see this abbreviation in general. VA and HA, this is a vertical asymptote, and this is a horizontal. One goes up and down vertically, one goes left and right horizontally. So that's all we want to find. So we start with the vertical asymptote. Okay, if you guys remember from the page before, the notes you took, a vertical asymptote is when the denominator equals 0. So a vertical asymptote occurs when x minus 1 equals 0. Meaning, to find the vertical asymptote, you solve for x. So you add 1 to both sides. My vertical asymptote occurs at x equals 1. Pretty easy, right? Horizontal asymptote, we have to look at degree of numerator, degree of denominator. So the degree of the numerator, the highest degree is 3. So x cubed. Degree of the denominator is x to the first, so 1. We know 3 is greater than 1, so no horizontal asymptote. Okay, so let me talk about kind of like some work to show. Since this is everything's online, and it's an Alex assignment, I'm not going to be able to see your work anyways, but on your paper, what I'm looking for is just to state them. So like the horizontal asymptote part, you don't need to put degree of numerator and degree of denominator. I did that just to I thought maybe it'd help you guys out to see. All you have to do is look at this. So I'm looking at the function. I'm not stupid. I can tell that it's the degree of the numerator is 3, the degree of the denominator is 1. I don't need to do any manipulation. That's just how it is. So like right from the bat, I already know there's no horizontal asymptote. You can just state that. Vertical asymptote, you have to set up this equation. A lot of people can just look at the denominator and just say, oh, it's x equals 1 is a vertical asymptote. So moral of the story is, as long as there's not much work involved. Just state what you see, basically. All right. So now, what I like on an Alex assignment, after you got those 2 answers, I would have you go into Desmos, start graphing, and type in the function. So remember, our function is not Sorry, let me go to my screen here. Our function is not, we don't put y, or we don't put f of x because Desmos doesn't recognize that. We put y. So y equals x cubed divided by x minus 1. And let me talk about what you guys should be thinking about seeing, right? So based off the algebra we did, we shouldn't see a horizontal asymptote, which means at no point in this graph should there be like a cutoff where there is no red line. Every single y value should be included. So if I zoom out, I should see a red line forever, which you can see I definitely do. There gets a point where if you zoom out too far downward direction, this line will kind of disappear, but that's just how Desmos is. Definitely, though, there's no horizontal asymptote. So that's good. It means my algebra is good. A vertical asymptote is at x equals 1. So I should be able to imaginarily draw a vertical asymptote at x equals 1. So if this is x equals 1, do you guys notice? The graph doesn't cross that. The graph goes down, and if you look at some of these values, do you guys see that it never hits 1, the x values? It's like 0.896, 0.922, 0.929, 0.932, and so on and so on. If I go even farther down, look, 0.987, keep going, still 0.987. And like that's going to keep happening for the rest of the graph. So it never hits 1. Same thing up here. From the left, it's like 1.2, 1.2, 1.2, and it's going to get closer and closer, but it's never going to touch 1. So that's how I know there's a vertical asymptote at 1, because x can never be equal to 1. Now I wonder if I can include asymptotes on this. I doubt I can. That'd be pretty cool if I could, though. Huh. There's a global math art contest if you guys are interested in joining. All right, I don't think I can put the asymptotes on the graph, which would be cool, but that's okay. What I can do, though, is I can do this. I can put the line x equals 1. You guys notice that these red lines, it looks like it kind of overlaps, but it never does. It rides right alongside that. All right. So in Desmos, you would plug in, like, it would ask for asymptotes. You would say one of your asymptotes is x equals 1, and then to actually graph it, I think you would just put some points. So you would go to here, click on the convert to table, and just put some of these points. 2 2/3, 0.508. Another big feature too, guys, you'll notice whenever, I talked about this already, but as a reminder, if you ever see a table that has an undefined x value, that's where your asymptote occurs. Cool. Any questions? So go out in the chat. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Sierra's good. Thank you, Sierra. Thank you to Jidia. Jaden and Damon, are you guys all right? All right, I'm going to take that as a yes. If I don't get any questions. I'll keep an eye out, though. If you guys are in the middle of typing a question, keep typing. I'll keep an eye on the chat and I'll go back. If not, though, I want you guys to do 1A. So here's what I want you to do for 1A. I want you to find the vertical asymptote and horizontal asymptote. And then I just want you to graph in Desmos. Don't have to copy down into your paper. I want you to do the work to find the VA and HA. I want you to do that on paper, but the actual graph I just want you to do in Desmos. So just so you guys know, the function is f of x equals x squared minus x minus 6 divided by x plus 1. All right, so go ahead, guys. I just want you to, in the chat, type in your vertical asymptote and horizontal asymptote. And I want you to do it in equation form. Yeah, you too, Damon. Appreciate you stopping by. So go ahead in the chat, just like do VA colon, and then type in x equals whatever, and then HA colon y equals whatever. So remember, they're equations of lines. Asymptotes are equations of lines. Guys, don't forget, so I know when I'm good to review it, please type in the chat your vertical asymptote and horizontal asymptote. If there is one. If there's not one, then just type none. Okay, cool. Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate the feedback. Good on the vertical asymptote. And I'll go over the horizontal. So Sarah, while I'm waiting for anyone else, Sarah, Digidio, and Jaden, look back in your notes, Sierra, of the notes you took, that key concept notes. That tells you how to find the horizontal asymptote. See if you can process your way through it. Okay, cool. Thank you, Sarah. I'm just going to wait on Jaden. Good, Sarah Digidio. Yep. No horizontal asymptote. So, Sarah, to find the vertical asymptote, you set the entire denominator equal to 0. So the entire denominator is x plus 1. Set that equal to 0. And then solve for x. Oh, Haley's here. Hey, Haley. Very good, Haley. Vertical asymptote -1. Horizontal asymptote none. Awesome. Yep, good job, Sierra. So Jaden Dudek, if you're still here, I'm waiting on you. You're the last person that I know is here, and I want to see how you're doing. All right, well, I'm going to go over this. So looks like I think putting all our answers together, we piece together what we're looking for. So vertical asymptote, like I said to Digidio, you just take whatever is in the denominator, set it equal to 0. If there's multiple factors in the denominator, you set all of them equal to 0. So if the denominator was x plus 1 times x minus 3 times x plus 4, you would set all of those equal to 0. Good, Jaden. Thank you. So solving for x gives me the answer to my vertical asymptote. Bam. Subtract 1 from both sides. My vertical asymptote is x equals -1. Not too bad, right? Horizontal asymptote is simply the degrees. So if you notice, the degree of the numerator is 2. The degree of the denominator is 1. X to the first and x squared. So 2 is greater than 1, meaning none. There is no horizontal asymptote, because the degree of the numerator is greater than the degree of the denominator. Very good. Last step, guys, we just graphed in Desmos, and this is the graph you get. So you can see there's no line horizontally that prohibits the graph from following it. These go to infinity and negative infinity. So I'm definitely right with the horizontal asymptote. I can see that right around here, the graphs like go all the way up to infinity and all the way down to infinity, but they don't cross this point. And this is called the vertical asymptote at x equals -1. So I'm good with that as well. This graph also has a unique feature. It's called a slant asymptote. A slant asymptote is one that's diagonal. So you guys can kind of see my arrow. It would be like right down the center here, right down the origin there. And it's dividing it diagonally. It's dividing the graph. That's something this chapter talks about. I don't want to spend a lot of time on. It involves long division, which is good. That's good review. But just because I'm not going to be able to see you guys in person, and I don't have I don't know. I'm not going to focus on it. But if anyone's curious to find a slant asymptote, you would use long division. And whatever your answer is, that's your equation for your slant asymptote. Okay, so to end class, I want you guys to do 1B, same idea. So in the chat, I want you, when you're done, type in your VA and HA for 1B in equation form. And then class is over. Okay, thank you, Sierra. All right, so let's go over this. Vertical asymptote. So finding vertical asymptote, you take the denominator, set it equal to 0. So you really set x plus 2 squared equal to 0, but it doesn't matter because 0 squared will be 0. So all that matters is whatever's inside this parentheses has to be equal to 0. So I just set x plus 2 equal to 0. And then you end up getting negative 2. So Jaden Dudek, be careful. You should have negative 2 as x. Horizontal asymptote, you guys are both good. It is non-existent. Here's why. The numerator, the degree is cubed. The denominator's degree is squared. Numerator 3 is greater than 2. So there is no horizontal asymptote. Another way to look at this is if you were to actually FOIL this out 3 times. So x plus 1 times x plus 1 times x plus 1. FOIL those all out, you would get x cubed at the beginning. This squared, you get x squared at the beginning. 3 is greater than 2. Okay, now I don't really need to show you. You can throw that sucker into Desmos, and you can see that these are the correct answers. Now, I don't know why the book did this, which is kind of stupid, but they kept doing the horizontal asymptotes as none. I promise you in Desmos, you're going to get questions that have horizontal asymptotes. Make sure you look back into your key concepts. So take a look back at your key concepts. So now you're probably comfortable with if the numerator degree is bigger than the denominators, but there's going to be situations where the denominators are bigger or they're equal. So make sure we didn't get any practice today, but for Alex, you're going to need to know how to do that. Okay, and that's all I got for you guys today. So I'll hang out for a second if you have any questions. If not, I hope you have a fantastic day. As you know, Friday is a review from stuff we did the week, so I encourage you guys to stop by, ask any questions. I can do practice problems if you'd like, whatever you need. But I'll be here from 11 to 12 on Friday. I'll also be back on 1 to 2 today to do my office hours, so if you guys want to hop in and ask questions, do it then. You're welcome, Sierra. Appreciate you stopping by. I really do appreciate you guys attending. All right, I'll be taking off. I'll see you guys later.